So you've moved beyond the big five now. How many asset managers are vying for your business?
Oh, I think about 10.
About 10?
Yeah, that are managing our assets now.
The biggest risk, in your view, to the South African economy at this point?
The biggest risk to the South African economy is I can't imagine what would cause a total collapse. And it's also it's something that's not going to happen likely. I think that our institutions are strong. There is confidence in our financial system, our financial markets. We have very strong fundamentals. So the biggest risk would be a collapse, but what would cause the collapse is not very obvious to me at the moment, because
a double dip recession on the global front.
The previous recession did not affect us as much as it affected the rest of the world, and that is because we had, if I may, better regulation in certain instances. We have a very good regulation of the financial markets. Our regulators have been consistent, and we have had the foresight to avoid a lot of the problems that arose. For example, we kept exchange controls, albeit minimally, and this both came to bear fruit during the recession. The management of the fiscus has been outstanding, and we brought ourselves from a -8 or 9% in '94 to a small budget surplus, which stood us in good stead during the recession. Perhaps what we need to do now is, although the budget deficit is expanding a little bit, we should get involved in another process of arresting it again and bringing it back. And I'm quite confident that the current Minister of Finance will be able to do that.
If you look at the JSE All Share, from a transformation perspective, which companies do you feel strongly are behind the curve in their transformation mandate?
I had not prepared to name anyone here at the moment.
But usually you name them quite freely.
But what we have done is that with collaboration with the University of Stellenbosch and some academics, we have developed a matrix that shows the different dimensions of transformation and good governance, and have started ranking the companies on the stock exchange. We're starting with the top 40, and very soon we will be able to tell you it's a scientific process done by...
Have you seen the results yet?
I've seen the preliminary results.
Are we going to be shocked?
And I wouldn't want to talk about them now because they want to tweak this and tweak that and so on. Part of the problem is that we are using public information that is in the annual reports. And a lot of companies do not report on some of the issues. So I think in the first year, actually, we should desist from casting aspersions on anyone and inviting them to report more in their annual financial statements, so that they cannot hide behind the fact that we were not able to consider certain dimensions because they did not report on them. So people should improve their reporting, which is a good spin-off of the exercise. And maybe in a year or two we'll be able to say, okay, everybody has been given a chance to report. The people who are at the bottom, if they say that this issue and that issue has not been considered, it is because they themselves have not reported it.
There are those out there who say that you strong-arm companies into affecting their black economic empowerment criteria. Do you feel that you've played a big role in transformation since you joined the PIC in July 2003?
Well, quite frankly, it was just two issues. I think at Sasol and at Balo World, and I've been there for 7 years. 2 issues in 7 years. It's not like I wouldn't call myself a bully, or there's much more that could have been done. We hope that the 2 issues send a message about what the PIC is capable of doing and saying. But generally our attitude has not been to go out there and publicly flog companies. I mean, given the state of transformation in the JSE and in South Africa, I think that if our intention had been to publicly humiliate, we could have done more. So it was just two issues, and were two big issues, and but I think that everybody now has their heart in the right place.
2010, your
Yes.
mandate comes to the end at the PIC this year. What does the future hold for Brian Molefe?
I have to think about that.
When will you be leaving the PIC?
It's a matter that still needs to be discussed, of course, at the Treasury with the Minister, and I would not comment on it now.
What do you want your legacy in South Africa to be?
My personal legacy.
Your personal legacy?
I do not think that I will have a personal legacy, but I think that history will be written about an institution called the Public Investments Corporation one day.